Yes, job people, this is Michael Shamaya representing. I will say, Haile the Lion Voice, saying it is time for the lions and the lionesses to tell their own story. King David killed Goliath with a stone, we original dread.
The fittest of the fittest shall survive. But people, open your eyes. Wake up. Blessed love, this is Queen Omega representing for all lions and lionesses. With the lion's voice, we come to tell our story. Rastafari, live it. Hey, the lion's voice, Rastafari.
We also say this in the context that we know we've been under attack by forces seen and unseen, infiltration. We fight not flesh and blood, but principalities and powers, spiritual wickedness and high and low places. Yeah, I see it. So we overstand that we've gone through, and from disruptors to ones who stumbling blocks. You know what I mean? And it don't have to be a foreign entity. It can be the devil within our one. Send them to come disrupt our work or to crash our work or steal money from our work. All these things have happened over the years. So we've been under attack, hierarchically, physically, law enforcement, persecution. So 3 criteria. So we don't have this reasoning in a vacuum, and there's always nuance to every discussion that we want to touch.
The year is 1892, and the land of Ethiopia has been experiencing 4 years of terrible famine and drought. They call it the KWASI'S, or the evil days. At least 1/3 of the human population and 90% of the cattle have died. The hyenas have feasted on so many carcasses that they have become overweight and barely able to move. Just when the people could take no more of the evil days, a woman named Wasiro Yeshimabet is giving birth in a place called Urgersa Gora. This is her 9th attempt to bring forth new life. Her previous 8 attempts only resulted in death. Will this child live? Thankfully, a healthy baby boy is born. His first cries are drowned by thunder and lightning flashes across the night sky. The heavens open up and torrential rain starts to fall. Ethiopia's drought is over, and the baby boy is given the name Tafari, meaning one to be feared or respected. LIDJ Tafari's father, Ras Tafari, is a very important man in 1892 Ethiopia. Although he is overjoyed at the birth of his newborn son, he cannot spend much time with him. Ras Tafari is the governor of Harar and must get back to the famous walled city to deal with its affairs. Furthermore, he is the foreign minister of Ethiopia, and having traveled to different places in Europe, he is very aware of the material and military advances they have made and the looming threats they pose to his country. Ras Tafari knows that the majority of Ethiopians have no idea what is coming, and that he has to work that much harder to secure the realm. LIDJ Tafari would grow up to become the legendary emperor, Haile Selassie I. To understand his journey, we must first understand the Ethiopia that he was inheriting, and what it was like when he was born in 1892. Get your copy of Kwesi Bansu's book, Haile Selassie I, Ethiopia, Volume 1, The Rise of the Priestly Warrior Kings, and increase your knowledge about the history, politics, and culture of Ethiopia in 1892, and how it connects to the rest of African and world history at the time. Haile Selassie I, Ethiopia, Volume 1 is available for purchase at www.bookmanexpress.pub. Please visit for more information.
But I want to set 3 parameters, as we have this discussion. Number 1 parameter that we're setting is that the elders' work is grandfathered in. When we say the Rastafari man has he failed, we're not talking about the elders who trod through great tribulation, who fight the battle that the legacy has been established throughout the 4 corners. Their work is unquestionable. I've traveled, wide, and as a Ras, I've stood in Tapanari circles. I've, garrison I've been the whole spectrum of the human existence as Rastafari, and I can confidently say that the integrity, of I and I, the living I, when I and I trod through, unquestionable. And that is the legacy of the elders, who exemplified Kadamari Haile Selassie the first, let me say that, and Empress Menen, who, of course, the highest of himself shall establish and I set the foundation. But I and I have lived that life. This is a lived experience. I was telling some brethren the other day that I and I don't come as a YouTuber who is trying to get to know Rastafari. No, we tried Rastafari and we come on YouTube as a platform to create a platform for I and I to unapologetically establish a Rastafari voice. Rastafari non-aligned independent media. We'll get to that later. So that's number one in terms of ground rules. I want to set that the elders, we're not talking about the elders, we're talking about I and I that come after, anything after the elder generation, the adults of today, and those who, probably everyone under 60 get this fire. You know what I mean? You're over 60, you escape from this fire. So this is a conversation for I and I under 60 years old. Number two criteria is that I say this in the context that the Rastafari brethren and sisters are rising. The Rastafari man in particular is rising. And this is exemplified by the interviews on the channel. I couldn't interview so many brethren if no one was doing work. Everyone that comes on this platform are brethren who are in the trenches, doing the work, who have distinguished themselves. These are giants among us within the core of the community, and that typically don't come on public platforms because we were socialized unless we were artists. And I've, as I said, intentionally not interviewed a lot of artists. That's changing. We're about to flood the place with some artists interview too. So we're stepping on the gas on that. However, so as I ask this question, it's to further the healing process that has already begun. And I always come with a hopefulness and a iris of victory, because the Lion of Judah break every chain. And I am connected to ones that are doing mighty works. I'm inspired every day, and so I say that in the context. So when we're asking if we failed, we're looking at what is currently in place, the lack of institutions, the lack of an economic base. We're going to look at 5 things that we're judging this by. And this is just to ask these honest questions as brethren, because we are tasked to lead this nation. And as I channel is viewed by more younger brethren, I want to get them on the same page, that we have the benefit, who have trod decades now, can impart on the younger brethren how them feel think and how we really need to defeat some of the challenges that came before us. So we're going to talk 5 things that we're judging by which to see, did we indeed as Rastafari man fail the Rastafari family, or have we failed the Rastafari family? Because I don't like, to be honest, when we hear I sister and Queen Amiga say, yeah man, the brethren them we know say the item we're as a brethren, oh I feel, when I can say, well, you said sister, look on the school for the arts that the brethren them just build over. So I could have give her some works, definitely. Even I own works. However, I understood what she was saying, let's be balanced and let's be fair. I understood what the brethren was saying when he was saying, Rasai Ball, when he was saying, the sister in them, because even, dealing with things like Jamaica Music Conference and other works, a lot of sister and I was working with in them times there, and most of the brethren doing works would tell you the same thing. They depend on the black woman of the earth in particular, to execute work. When you're working on a high level, you always want to surround yourself with sister and them meticulous, them, initiative thing up, sometimes with brethren, it's, power struggle and petty difference and things don't get done. That's the reality. So I overstood what Queen Omega was saying. I overstood what Ras Eyeball was saying, and there have been others on this platform who have said this. And remember that the Lion Voice Network, we have the most Rastafari woman content of any platform on the planet. Go to our Rastafari woman playlist. You can just run down all day, sit down and just hear the lioness story from her own voice, and we're proud of that. So that's the second thing, is that we say that in the context that the Rastafari man is rising, and also that the elders are exempt from this relationship. Number three, we also say this in the context that we know we've been under attack by forces seen and unseen, infiltration. We fight not flesh and blood, but principalities and power, spiritual wickedness and high and low places. Yeah, I see it. So we understand that we've gone through, and from disruptors to ones who stumbling blocks. You know what I mean? And it don't have to be a foreign entity. It can be the devil within our one. Send them to come disrupt our work, or to crash our work, or steal money from our work. All these things have happened over the years. So we've been under attack, hierarchically, physically, law enforcement, persecution. So 3 criteria. So we don't have this reasoning in a vacuum, and there's always nuance to every discussion that we want to touch. So we're going to again acknowledge 3 criteria, which are: number 1, anyone over 60, we give thanks for the item sacrifice and the item work, and the item are not in this because the item have done the work. This fire is for 60 and under. Number 2 is that Rastafari man is rising. The Rastafari man is connecting. We are putting together the infrastructure. We are planning. We are executing. That is happening as we speak. A lot of it will be featured here on the Lion Voice Network. So if you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Become part of the Lion Pride. We'll get to that shortly. Number 3 is that we have been under attack. We are at war. I entered the Third World War early from them attack His Imperial Majesty with the propaganda campaign. That was the beginning of our Third World War, because it was a multi-pronged attack from both the Western powers and the Eastern Bloc. Attack His Majesty, the Soviets and America both attacked Kadamawi at the same time. That was the beginning of our Third World War. But
together we will make history. The action sweeter than a kiss to me. When we're together, Babylon don't exist to me. But I'm not perfect, she's not perfect. Together we're perfect. Plus, I've been hurt, she's been hurt, but our love still worth it. Plus, she give birth, she's like earth. Love, she deserve it. We got one destiny, him and Almighty. Now Babylon short circuit. She's been searching, heart hurting, in dark places, demon lurking. I've been working to be a better person, burden for me shoulder, future uncertain. Now stars aligning, perfect timing, together we're shining. Now we're climbing high altitude, steady breathing, her heart beating. I'm not leaving, together we receive everything we believe in. Mutual healing, together we receive the blessings of the real king. Can't deny the feeling. I'm not perfect, she's not perfect. Together we're perfect. Plus, I've been hurt, she's been hurt, but our love still worth it. Plus, she give birth, she's like earth. Love, she deserve it. we got one destiny, him and Almighty. Now Babylon short circuit, them send bad tidings, criticizing, never followed them, cause we were rising, they were hiding, now they're sliding. Some go follow Bobby in a wagon, them riding, study them, hobby, see what they're defending, low frequency them, slowly descending, negativity that them use and trending, now go follow them, cause we know the ending. In a Mount Zion mountain we're ascending, say she want the real thing, no pretending, say she got feelings, so she text sending, look on the message, we see what she recommending, say she want love, but it must be never ending, she no care what's trending, now we in love, so holy part time spending, more than just a friend thing.